What is up, and welcome in to the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined, as always, by our outstanding co-hosts. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon legend. He's a Grambling State Tiger legend. He played second base for them back in the day. He was all SWAC. It's Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And, of course, he's the new head coach at Simeon High School. And we have the NFL draft analyst for NBC Sports Chicago. You can catch his work at NBC Sports. I saw you had a mock draft out today.
Yes, sir.
Go check him out. NBCSportsChicago.com. You can catch him on the Under Center podcast. Football Night in Chicago, everywhere. You know who he is. He's Glenn Morgan, our GM. Gentlemen, welcome back. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Everyone had a very happy holiday season. I know I did. We got two nice wins for the beloved Bear. A Christmas gift and a New Year's gift. I was very happy during the holiday season for that. What did you guys think? First off, I think number one solidified his spot. That's just my opinion. I think he solidified the spot.
For the Atlanta Falcons next year?
For this team here. For this team here. Why would we send him to Atlanta or to Seattle?
You get a haul, bro. Going to Seattle. You get a haul for Atlanta. Atlanta wants him. He's indigenous. He's a native of Georgia.
How bad do they want him?
What's a haul?
Are they gonna give us what they would give up for a number one overall?
I've heard that they came out with the estimation, and it was what, a second round pick,
second or third.
That ain't enough.
Not what you getting for a guy who is not who hasn't proven himself in the NFL.
Nah, I'm good on that.
With a losing record, that he has,
I think that's proper trade value.
Yeah,
but that ain't nothing for us.
That don't help me.
That ain't what we can get for trading that number one pick.
Yeah, no. We're talking about Justin. I'm talking about number one pick.
I know. I'm just saying that. I think the trade value is correct. I think it's proper. A second or a third. I just don't think for the Bears, that's a smart trade.
You trade that pick. You trade the number one pick, maybe down to number 3. You can still get you a quality quarterback. Probably get you Jaden Daniels, who won the Heisman, and you get a dual threat quarterback. You have a guy who passes with accuracy. You get a guy who has the ability to run for 1,000 yards in a season.
I don't want a little man. I don't want a little man as my quarterback.
He's not little. He's 6'3", 195. He can put on more. He can put on another 10 pounds.
Yeah.
He can put on another 10 pounds. Dude, Lamar wasn't much bigger coming out of Louisville, and neither was Randall Cunningham coming out of UNLV.
Lamar's different.
Jaden Daniels is a little different. I don't know if you realize his ability to accelerate. So you guys got to look beyond just what you read or what you just sort of kind of see, and everyone talking about Caleb Williams or Drake May. You got to look beyond that. The guy won a Heisman, and nobody's even talking, acting like he poo tar. And how many times is a person who's highly touted to be the number one pick overall is so, but yet the cats that come behind are the ones that really take off. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
I already got my quarterback.
I agree. I agree with you there. But we ain't trading out of that number one spot and taking no Jaden Daniels. We just not going to do that.
You're going to get a significant amount of draft capital, not just for this year, but for next year. And you have a team. Hear me out now. You have a team that has shown a little something towards the tail end, but now you have an ability to get a quarterback who can pass more accurately, someone that gives you a rookie contract deal, so you have more fiscal flexibility to incorporate a few more free agents, plus the draft capital you're getting for this year and for next year. So you're having to build that team together, and you have something going forward and the ability to win. That's what you do if you're a GM. That's on some bullshit.
But GM ain't doing that. Exactly. That's why I'm over here laughing all the time. But GM ain't doing that. Our GM ain't doing that.
Hell to the no. You're out of your damn mind if you think I'm going to give away one of the most unique talents in the NFL right now. I ain't got to guess at it. I ain't got to think about it. It's not conjecture. It's not speculation. We have literally seen it. We've been seeing it. And for those who have eyes, you've understood exactly the context surrounding Justin. Mm-hmm. And not just Justin, but the entire Chicago Bear team and organization to a greater degree. And realize that they are literally on track to do exactly what this general manager said he wanted to do when he first got here. Yeah. What he said he wanted to do when he first got here was not just win for now, but to have that foundational growth.
He said build through the draft.
Build through the draft in order to have and maintain a sustainable chances to win going forward. And you build through the draft, you keep your costs down low.
Yeah.
I had this dream the other day. Just humor me and let me know if this is just crazy. The Bears could do this trade and draft pick thing for at least another 3-4 years.
Legit 3 years.
Hey, look, I literally was having this conversation with somebody, and I said, so this year, you look at it, people keep saying, this is why stuff on TV is just it's foolish. It's foolish what you hear on TV when you have people. I'm not even gonna name them, but people saying, "Holes, if you get the number one pick again, you're gonna get fired." Fool, this ain't our number one pick, idiot. Like make it make sense. This year, especially if we win Sunday, we'll likely have a pick between 10 and 15 with someone else's number one pick. Next year, so I've been saying, and I know you probably seen it on Facebook, I believe the trade partner will be Washington. I just have a strong feeling there. We already got the player. Now let's do the picks. Something about that just makes sense to me with Washington. But you trade with Washington, that's a perfect trade partner in my opinion, because they're in the NFC East. They're not going to end one than the Dallas Cowboys or the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are trending down. I still don't think Washington will be better. But you make that trade next year, you hope that pick becomes a top 5 pick if you get a first round pick which you will get a first round pick for the next year. And what you would hope for your own pick to be between 15 and 25. Like you set that as the standard. And then with that top 5 pick again, you can make another trade.
Make another one. Or you mess around. You mess around and trade with somebody like New England, who they're going to take a quarterback and they're not ready to win yet. And then you mess around and have another top 5 pick.
Exactly.
Next year.
This could really be a major snowball effect.
Yeah.
With everyone constantly focusing on the quarterback and not realizing Pole is out here.
Man,
he's taking control of the draft every year.
That's major chess playing right there.
This is 2 years in a row he's in control of the draft.
I heard somebody that I'm sorry, go ahead.
No,
I heard somebody, a certain acclaimed local sports journalist who also is on the radio, occasionally shows up on football night in Chicago. I asked him his opinion about what to do with Justin. Basically, he was for trading Justin and what have you, and drafting quarterback. But he said conventional wisdom. That was what he prefaced it with. Conventional wisdom says
tells you like, to do that.
Yeah, I'm like
that's lazy.
I can definitely agree with you or argue with you that that's lazy, or at least it's uninspired at the very least. It's definitely uninspired. But I'm like conventional wisdom. So you think doing what everybody else does is going to get you ahead of everyone else?
Exactly.
You have to think differently.
Just like Dan Orlovsky keep pointing out to people, the New York Jets thought that was the way, and it failed them miserably. Getting off Sam Darnold, we're going to go younger. We're not going to give Darnold a chance to develop. We're going to go younger. And Zach Wilson is worse. Now, then you got lucky and thought you got Aaron Rodgers, but the football guys say, nah, man, y'all not about to cheat this process. Y'all thought y'all was going to cheat the process.
Right.
Like, it's just, everything I'm seeing is just lazy takes. It's lazy.
Yes.
Reset the quarterback clock. You have conventional wisdom. You have to take a quarterback. No, you don't. Peter King. I was listening to Peter King, and he was talking. I don't know who the guy
This
was.
young brother, right?
Yeah,
I saw that.
And Peter King was saying how the Bears need to keep Justin and all this, and the dude started talking, and he talking about resetting the clock, and I'm yelling like, "Why do people keep talking about reset the clock?" And Peter King just let the guy finish,
Right.
and then when he finished, Peter King said, "Who says you have to pay him?" Like,
Right.
and that's my thing. Like, and I'm a huge Justin Fields fan. If we have to pay Justin Fields $200+ million, that means he did something special. That means like, and you're gonna tell me, media, oh, the Bears are stupid. We got a Super Bowl appearance, but we stupid because we just had to pay the quarterback. That
or
is
NFC Championship appearance.
Stupid. Like that doesn't make sense to me. If he shows to be, if next year he plummets again or whatever, guess what? We got the pick and play to make another draft pick. And like somebody else said, dude, generational talent is not about to go extinct because of Caleb Williams. There's going to be another person that they're going to crown a generational talent, just like they did. It never failed.
Happens
like Chris
every year.
Broussard made me so proud on First Day First because they were talking about Nick Wright was talking about, these 5 quarterbacks, and Chris Broussard was like, man, listen, if I'm not mistaken, the draft Justin Fields was in had 5 quarterbacks that everybody was talking about as so great. And look at what position we in now with them. So like let's pump the brakes, guys. These guys still have to come to the NFL and produce. Like, stop saying the Bears passed up on CJ Stroud, Joy Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears passed up on Bryce Young.
Right.
It's that simple. And all are telling me, because she tried to say, you already passed up on CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, and Anthony Richardson. So now we're gonna name Richardson? All the quarterbacks. Now we're gonna name them all. So then she named the 6 in this year's draft. And James Jones was like, you're only drafting one. She's like, no, but he has to be better than all of them. No, he does not. All that tells me is you're the type of person that if Poles draft Caleb and Jaden Daniels is the one that blossoms, you're going to be on TV.
How did they not draft?
Exactly. That's what you're going to do on TV. That's all that tells me. You're not going to be like, well, he was a consensus number 1 pick. You're going to say they should have drafted him. So shut the hell up. Just shut up.
Resetting this clock, by the way, contract wise, Fields in his 4th year next year is set to make $6 million, right? On the cap. All right.
Cheap as hell.
Pick up the option.
You pick up the 5th year option.
You divide that, it's 15 a year, basically.
Pretty well, it's closer to 20. But still, the cap has gone up so much that a $20 million hit on a quarterback is not really that much.
There's nothing. And that's what Peter King said. Like, if after year 4 and you picked up the option and he ain't what you want, cut him.
Let it go.
That hit ain't gonna be nothing.
Then let's say after the 5th year, you're like, I still don't know if I want to pay this guy all that money. You could still franchise him at that point.
If I can interject right quick, if you do by picking up the 5th year option, if he doesn't, let's say let's say Justin has a full regression, you're just like, ooh, we messed up. By picking his 5th year option, you can, or even if it's not really bad, but enough that you don't want to keep him, he's still fiscally budgeted in for a team could still want to trade for him, and it's not going to break the bank. So it still gives you an option to trade for him as well. You have more than just A or B option. You have several options and aspects within those options or nuances within those options to do and get something that you may, want or be able to recoup in some form of fashion if it doesn't work out for you. It kills me how everyone says, or not everyone, the people who are saying trade Justin and or trade or draft a quarterback with the pick, how they're so certain that Justin it's that he's not going. I'm like, so he can't get any better. Like he's already reached his max at 24 years of age. With his second year in the system, he's reached his max. So what makes you think that the guy coming in behind him is so much better? There's no guarantee with that.
Because they told you so.
Right. And these are the same people who are making these statements that don't watch.
Don't watch nothing. That's what bothers me so much.
They don't watch the players. They barely watch the college games, and they don't watch the players. They're just going, like you said, they just go on what they're being told.
That's what bothers me so much with this whole topic. These people are not watching the game at all. Like, you guys are on TV giving these opinions. The only reason this topic is coming up is because it's such a divide publicly. And so y'all know it's gonna draw ratings. Yeah, my silly ass, even though I know y'all gonna say what I don't want to hear, I tune in every single time so I can debate the TV.
Right.
Like, so you all know that. Because you can tell that you all are not watching the games. You could just flat out tell. Anytime you start bringing up the numbers and you bring up Justin only threw in this stretch 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, without context that 2 of those interceptions was Hail Marys, with one of them being an incomplete pass that they called an interception.
Right.
Like, it's zero context to any of you all's argument.
Did they ever change the
no, they did not.
They didn't change it?
They did not.
They
did not.
Huh.
Like, and then people like Shannon Sharp saying the Bears they're not doing the job of putting things around him. Poles definitely is trending in that direction.
Yes.
Like, and I know it's probably because he wants him to go to Atlanta.
Right.
Bad. Like, and I'm like, one network wants him to go to Atlanta. So he out of Chicago. Like I said on Facebook, all this stuff is a factor of Michael Jeffrey Jordan. The New York market don't want Chicago to be great. They want him out of here. Go to Atlanta.
I believe that.
Win.
I believe that.
Let them win. We prefer him out of Chicago because we gonna be better than them. They thought they was up with Daniel Jones' sad ass.
Wait, I'm sorry. Go back a second. What does Michael Jeffrey Jordan got to do?
Man, Michael Jordan is the reason. You look at the 2 major networks, New York City, LA.
Okay.
First off, Michael Jordan made life a living hell for New York City.
Yes.
They thought they had chance after chance after chance. Okay. And then LA, they just want to be the one. They just want to be at the top. They don't. So they sense because you could. The LA market is against that Fox market, which is the LA market. They're completely against Justin Fields for the most part. I mean, you have certain people on the shows, Keyshawn Johnson, who's been about Justin Fields from jump. But like Colin Cowherd and the Speak crew, outside of James Jones, who they leave out to dry, they don't even let him talk.
Colin Cowherd, he there's no way he believes anything that comes out of his mouth on a daily basis.
He can't. He's just doing it for clickbait and everything else.
That's all it is. Yeah. That's all it is. He's trying to get ratings.
Because he flat out Jimmy Johnson come on. Say Jimmy talk about how the team is improving and all this stuff. Before Jimmy came on, Colin was talking about how they winning. The defense appears to be getting better, but look who they played. They played backup quarterbacks and all this stuff. So then when Jimmy comes on and say what he said, then at the end of the show, Colin gives his flashback and then he started talking after. He like, you draft Caleb with this defense, how well they are playing? Wow. Now the defense, it ain't about who they playing. You just walk in contradiction.
He says things and the next day he'll say the exact opposite.
Walk in contradiction with it, man. I know one person he ain't spoke of is Trevor Lawrence, who he swears is a generational talent.
Look,
you got people now saying, "Shoot, Justin might be the best quarterback in this class."
But
the last few weeks,
dude. Yeah, see, this is where you're a conspiracy theorist, and I'm like Bruce Banner. Don't make me angry. You don't want to see me when I get angry.
Look, dog, I'm
Because when you start
man.
talking about Trevor Lawrence and Justin arguably, possibly, maybe being able to be that quarterback from this draft class, I will scream and be like, how did you not fucking know from when you saw back in high school?
Mm-hmm.
He done went up against him head up.
We know why.
3 times.
We know why. We
3
know
times.
Why.
It should have beat them all 3 times.
We know why. Because guess what we about to see in this draft process?
What?
All these people, Dan Orlovsky trying to warn people. We about to see Drake May quietly become the top
number 1
prospect.
Right. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Now I'm with you. I sense
it.
And
then I'm gonna be on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook pissed off because they pushing the, who ahead of who is been clear cut number 1.
Well, the Heisman guys barely get any talk.
So Caleb, wait. So they're gonna say Caleb may not be able to handle the
questionable
major media market because of the crying and not talking to the media. Daniel's just too small. I know I said that earlier, but and he is. It may be true, but
maybe not.
That's
small.
Gonna drop him. Penix,
Penix is a senior citizen.
He's 25 and he's got 2 knee injuries, and
he's a senior citizen.
That's gonna make him fall.
Him and Bo Nix.
Bo Nix is old too. Yeah, Drake May is gonna be the number 1 pick.
I'm telling you, Drake May is going to jump in this process.
Drake
May. You are exactly right about
He's gonna jump. And like I said, like I'm 100% just. But when it comes to the quarterbacks in this draft, it's Caleb Williams number 1. Like, and so I'm gonna be just like I was when Justin Fields draft. When they start pumping all these people in front of them, people gonna be like, wait, I thought you didn't want Caleb Williams. I don't, but I also don't want the media to flip it and put somebody ahead of him that don't deserve to be.
Well, that's what's, like you said, that's gonna happen. And then towards the tail end, Caleb will jump back up to being number 1. Something will happen.
Guess it all depends on who trade with us.
True that as well. Right quick, this is what I wrote about Drake May for this week's mock on NBC Sports Chicago. .com. I said, taking a talent signal caller with franchise potential might be the direction New England ownership chooses to pursue. Drake May is a big, strong arm, 6'4", 220-pound quarterback with good accuracy, 64.9% career completion rate, and NFL-level instincts. Now, in addition, the athletic trigger man also rushed for career 1,200 yards while compiling 16 rushing scores. Now, this is what the thing you just said, and this is where the pivot's going to happen nationally when it comes to Drake May's assessment. Arguably, May is considered by some pundits to be the safest, I put that in quotations, and the most reliable quarterback prospect in this draft. And that will be more or less the said or unsaid reason why he pumps up to the top. He'll be the one that's quarterback ready or NFL ready, safest prospect because he has the size. He can run a little bit, so he feels that need of the current modern day quarterback. He's got a 65% completion percentage career-wise, and he doesn't have any drama surrounding him. He's got the right complexion. Let's just keep it real, and all these other things. And he would be considered the safest, most reliable draft-ready quarterback to have. Because with Caleb, you're getting a lot of diva stuff now. And then his size is going to come into question. And then the fact that he holds onto the ball for 3.2 seconds, which is pretty long, even by college standards, let alone NFL standards, where it's 2.5. I consider this is the average. Also, his tendency to play off schedule too often or out of structure too often. Is he coachable? Is he too much, NIL money, got his head thinking this, thinking that, all these things. And he's on social media. Do you want that for your friend? All those knocks are going to happen with him. And with Jaden, it's going to be, he's kind of thin framed. He really only had 1 good year. Is he, that running's going to get him hurt. He's not going to be durable. I'm telling you, man, you said it, Smoke, and we can just see the writing on the wall before it happens. These are the things they're going to say. And with all that being said, name me somewhere in there where any one of those 3 is better than the guy we already have.
Can't do it.
I mean, and we have zero idea what they're going to do.
Can't do it.
They ever done
Can't do it. And what pisses me off is how many excuses they give. How many excuses they give. On one end, Colin Cowherd, per se, will give the excuse that Lincoln Riley, the defense, he just don't have a defense. But then want to flaunt and taunt because Oklahoma lost their bowl game. Lincoln Riley leaves, and look what happens. They ain't had no defense at Oklahoma when he was there either.
Never.
That's why they always lost.
But they were winning. So what changed? What changed? Man, dude did not produce well against the stiffer competition. And you can throw out numbers and all that. A lot of people are throwing out what he did against Penix in Washington. Man, they were beating their ass. And then you get garbage yards coming back and doing stuff like that, man.
Beat Utah. Just impress me. Beat Utah once. You lost 3 times to Utah. Beat Utah once. You got 3 shots at him.
Like and I think Holmes, Lawrence Holmes,
yeah,
I think his name, and the lady that's on the show with him,
Ruthie.
Somebody
no. You're talking about Layla Rahimi.
Oh, Layla.
And they finally brought up how certain things can apply to other quarterbacks, and it's like, why doesn't it apply to Justin? No, because they talk Patrick Mahomes. Well, okay, but yeah, but Patrick Mahomes. They brought up Patrick Mahomes and how the fact that all of a sudden now all these excuses are being made, and it's legit excuses. He's with Matt Nagy, or his receivers are dropping balls and all this. Justin Nagy, year one.
Right.
Justin's receivers and stuff drop balls too. Justin's line is not always protecting him.
To this day.
Like, but none of that. Justin is literally in the media. If you look at these shows, Justin Fields is literally the only quarterback that has to play the game perfect.
Mm-hmm. This past week against Atlanta, you had Cole Kmet was hobbled. He came out and toughed it out, but he was hobbled.
Tunyon stepped up.
He did.
Tunyon stepped up.
But he did his job and got the ball.
In all seriousness, though,
yeah.
DJ Morris is hobbled as well, but he came on play. If you take those 2 guys away,
yeah, there's nothing.
There's nothing there.
We saw that.
There. Yeah,
we saw that against Atlanta. As great as Justin played, we saw that. Tyler Scott? So, like, granted, I think Tyler Scott is going to be.
He'll be fine.
Solid, especially if we get a true number 2 receiver. Mm-hmm. Put him in the slot. I think he's going to be solid.
I get he's a rookie, man. You got to catch that ball, man.
You got to catch the one, and you got to keep the feet. Like, Justin should have had 3 passing touchdowns.
Right.
Should have had 3 passing touchdowns. Like,
man.
But those things are never mentioned when it comes to Justin Fields. It's never mentioned. It's not mentioned that, well, this is what's said versus Arizona. I was at the game. Versus Arizona, he can't even carve up the worst pass defense in the league. What did Jalen Hurts just do again?
Well, I said the Eagles just lost.
He threw for 167. He had 3 passing touchdowns.
Yeah, because this guy don't drop the ball.
But he threw for 167.
Mm-hmm. Justin threw for 100 more yards.
Lamar Jackson, no, he didn't. Justin only threw for 100 and something versus Arizona.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought it was.
But he rushed.
He ran for 90.
Oh, ran for 90 something.
Right.
And we dominated that game. Lamar Jackson only threw for like 150 something versus Arizona.
You mean the MVP?
The MVP.
About to be 2-time MVP?
About to be 2-time MVP.
Hall of Famer.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, people quick to now that we already know the record is what they like to bring up. Now he's won 4 out of 5.
Right. That number keeps going up now.
So your boy Shady decided to go to the numbers. I'm gonna go to the numbers. And James Jones like, we really about to go to numbers because the guy we think is MVP don't have MVP numbers.
Right. Yeah, that was a great point he said.
Like, and a person, like typically a person that don't know how to support their own argument, you really gonna compare to Lamar?
It's loud.
It has nothing to do with comparing the two. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson's numbers are not MVP caliber numbers.
Typical
MVP caliber numbers. But we're not going to sit here and acknowledge that he's not the MVP because of what he's doing for his team.
Right.
Because guess what you all do? You all do watch Baltimore Ravens game. So context matters. You are not watching the Chicago Bears. You're not watching them. You're not watching us.
Well, here's the thing. If I can right quick, on the chances that they had to watch them on national big time games, Justin hasn't lost a game this year. Right? They beat Washington.
Yes.
Beat Washington.
That was Minnesota.
Yeah, beat the Minnesota game was ugly, but we won.
Right. And there wasn't Detroit like a late game or something, or
no.
No, that was a new game.
Who else was on?
Carolina.
No, he lost
it. Didn't play.
Oh, he didn't play that one. No,
Green Bay was
that was the opener.
Was a national game.
No, I don't think so.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. I was local.
That wasn't national.
It was the Saints. The Saints were a national game. The Saints, but that was Beijing.
No, Green Bay was the afternoon game of the week.
But it was noon.
They played at 3. They played at.
Did they play?
But that's not.
They might have did.
That's still
but
regional.
It's not prime time.
It's not prime time. I'm talking about like.
But it was the Fox. It counts as the Fox national game though.
But even though it's the game of the week, if you're not in that region, you're getting your regional game.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
I'm talking Sunday night.
The majority of the country saw Bears Packers.
I'm talking Sunday night, Thursday night, Monday night. That's what I'm talking about.
You're talking strictly night games.
I'm talking strictly. You're the only game on TV.
I got you. Okay.
And if you're watching football, that's what you're watching. And he beat Washington, and they beat Minnesota. The Saints game was Beijing, but there was another game they had, wasn't it? Just recently. It wasn't Detroit.
Well, Carolina was a
Carolina
Thursday night game,
and
that was Beijing.
That was Beijing as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're right. He hasn't lost a national game.
Right. And I think even last year,
you had the Thursday night against Washington.
They lost Chargers was a national game. That was a Sunday night game.
That was Beijing too.
That was Beijing, right?
And then the Patriots game.
The Patriot game last year.
Yeah, that was Justin.
Right. So I'm just saying, like, for us, for me, you guys are real young. For me, growing up, whenever the Bears were lucky enough to be on national TV, or I stay like a college, but be on the only game in town, which is generally Monday night games
back
for the
then,
most part back then. Yeah. The Bears had one of the worst Monday night records ever.
Oh, they were awful on Monday night.
They were one of the worst ever until the 85 Bears.
But even through the 80s and the early 90s, they were bad.
No, they were 50-50, 55-45. Because they would win. I remember that San Francisco game. They won like 10-7.
10-9.
10-9.
In 88.
Right.
I remember that game.
Yeah, they played the Broncos, but lost. I think I was pledging that night. They lost.
That was 87.
Yeah, that was 87.
Denver. I remember that game. How do I remember this stuff? I remember they went to LA and lost to Eric Dickerson and the Rams on Monday night. That was 86. I remember them getting crushed by San Francisco a couple of times in San Francisco on Monday nights.
Yeah, and they lost to the Dolphins in 85.
Right.
But I'm just saying, at least they showed better. I mean, they competed. But lately, the Bears
the Wana years they got their asses kicked on Monday night. The Green Bay game on Halloween.
Halloween, that says it all.
Well, clearly, listeners, Ez has a lot of Chicago Bear trauma in his childhood.
Jeez,
because he remembers
remember the Minnesota overtime game. It was during the Wana years where they went to overtime, and the second play from scrimmage, Warren Moon hit Chris Carter for a 65-yard touchdown.
You had some sleepless nights. Just
I
turn it
sure
over in your
did.
bed.
I sure did.
No, not Brett Favre again. No. But my point is, with Justin, since he's been here, he actually plays and competes very well in primetime games. He's been pretty consistent with that. And there've been times where we probably, like the Pittsburgh game, his rookie year, we should have won that game. The defense, that should have been a game-winning drive he had. The defense let us down in that regard. So, and I didn't mean to get completely off track, and I apologize, but I'm just saying for the most part, you're talking about a player who, you know, he shows up and you to some degree that this guy is going to compete. Like part of the problem why he holds on to the ball too long is that he's trying to, make lemonade from some of the lemons he's been dealt. If anyone's been dealt with some lemons since he's been an NFL player, it's been Justin. There is literally nobody from his draft class, maybe Lawrence, that would have been able to survive the 2 previous years of what Justin had to endure. I mean, look, I said it before, and I'll just remind people again if they didn't hear it the first, or if they forgot, or if they didn't hear it the first time, I'll say it. Justin's first year is his rookie year. Lame duck regime, lame duck GM, lame duck head coach, not doing anything to help develop Justin or the rest of the team for that matter. They're on their way out. Aging defense and often talent-wise was 0 to nil. I mean, very little, if anything. Justin's a rookie. Okay, so his development is already, impeded because of that. You come into the next year, which was,
they put him into that Cleveland game.
I don't even want to talk about that
Cleveland game, and
his
head kicked in 9 times.
That was criminal negligence on Nate's part. He should have been in jail for that. DCFS should have came after him for endangerment. So the second year, or Justin's second year, the regime are rookies. The new regime, they're all rookies. It's a rookie general manager, rookie head coach, rookie defensive coordinator, and rookie offensive coordinator. And somehow you're telling me that the second-year quarterback who still hasn't played 17 NFL games.
Wait. You left out.
Oh, no, I ain't gotten there yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I ain't gotten there yet. But you mean to tell me that the second-year quarterback is supposed to be carrying their lunch? He's supposed to be supporting them? No, he's still being developed. On top of the fact that before the season begins, Khalil Mack is traded away. You finally actually win your first game against a team that's supposed to be challenging for the Super Bowl. You beat the San Francisco 49ers at home. You both had to play in bad weather.
That didn't count. That didn't count to the media. That didn't count to the media when they thought Trey Lance was going to be something. It didn't count.
Right. So you get to a point where you're actually 3-4. And then you decide, you know what? We probably should just plan for the future. We're going to deconstruct this team. Let's trade away our best asset. Roquan Smith is given away for some Cheez-Its and some cheese swirls.
It was less than that.
I mean, he's basically just
at least those are good.
Right. And so your best offensive player goes away. And then you trade away. I'm not saying Robert Quinn's end all to be all, but he did set the Chicago Bear record for sacks in the season the year prior with 17.5. And he's given away. You don't win another game, and everybody, I mean, across the football diaspora is okay with it because the Bears are tanking for a number 1 pick. We'll see what they do with it.
The media wasn't okay with it.
No, the media was still okay. Yeah. They were still okay with
because
it.
they were still saying
out of town. Out of town.
Oh, I'm
the
still
national media. I'm saying
everyone realized you're going to get the first pick. I'm not saying they were saying.
And they were saying move Justin.
I'm not disputing that. I'm saying everyone was okay with the Bears losing. Is my point. Everyone was okay with the Bears losing because if you lose and get the number 1 pick and you jettison Justin, you have all these options. But they were okay with the Bears losing. My point is you can't count the losses that Justin incurred the first and second season because of his situation. That's the context that has been missing. So when Shady McCoy and Joy Taylor and Acho to a lesser degree want to say, look at his win-loss record, you're being disingenuous.
Right.
You're being extremely disingenuous. So those losses were built into the situation. Those were built-in losses. Okay. It had nothing to do with Justin. So then you come into this season. And now, because of free agency and you got some draft picks, you literally almost have like a third of your team, if not close to 2/3 of your team, are new. So your coaching staff that's still learning how to coach, it now has a whole new group of players they have to learn. And so my point is, and I've said it time and time again, in order to succeed, I feel in the NFL, probably a lot of other sports too, you need continuity and consistency. So Justin has not had any kind of continuity whatsoever. So this is the first year where he's actually had some type of stable foundation, of stable footing for a foundation to be laid. And when a foundation is laid, what do you have to do? You have to give it time for it to settle before you can start building on top of it. So this year is a foundational year. And if you want to hold any kind of win-loss record against Justin, at least begin with using this year as that barometer, if you want to do that, to give you that metric for win-loss. And if you do that, you'll see, as B just said earlier ago, he's won 4 out of the last 5. Arguably could have won the last 6. The 2 that they did lose, teams that are going to the playoffs, the total loss number was 8 points. Okay. And if the defense just makes us stop, those 2 will win. And offense could have done things too. I'm not saying it's a team. The team lost the game, but I'm saying just one thing good could have happened with the stop. And now you talk about a team that's on a 6-game winning streak. So pump the brakes, realize what you have, and invest in that foundational piece that has been laid this year, and start building on top of that with draft capital.
I tell you, 3 people, 3 teams are praying to God we make the change. I'll say 2 for sure. I'll say 2 for sure, and 1 is on the clock. Detroit, Minnesota, and if we go out there and beat Green Bay's ass, this whole division is hoping we make that move. Because if we come back and beat Green Bay, that means second half we started 0-3 in the division, we finished 3-3 in the division. They're praying, okay, this motherfucker done figured us out. Let them go get a rookie who don't know us and see what happens.
And a whole new coaching staff, because if you get the rookie quarterback, you're getting a whole new coaching staff.
They're going to do what Detroit did last year, and that's going to build toward the future. Hey, it looks like the report came out. Eberflus is going to be back. That's what word is. So with that, what do you do about your offensive coordinator?
Get rid of him. This is your chance to, look, man, I'll be real quick. There's zero reason why you cannot. There's zero reason why you feel you need to hold on to Getsy. We've seen this particular season in particular, where several teams within the course of the season change their offensive coordinators for the betterment of quarterback and the offense overall, and they worked and it improved their situation. We saw it in Buffalo, and we saw it even in Pittsburgh, and I forget the other team that made the change with the offensive coordinator, but all 3 teams had better success when they did that. And we saw Philadelphia change the defensive coordinator. Yeah, it was Pittsburgh and Buffalo.
Philadelphia did not have better success.
No, right. But they made a change, and so for teams to make a change,
a subtle change,
but who's calling the plays makes a difference. And for teams to make those kind of changes within the course of the season, there's no reason why you can't do it during the offseason. You have all the time in the world to build, and you can you can really narrow in on that OC who knows and has a better conceptual idea of what to do with Justin, and not just Justin alone, but with the offense in general. Because I've said it time and time again, it's not just about Justin's development, it's about the team's development on offense. And Getsy, he has decent play calls here and there. Blind squirrel finds a nut. Clock is right twice a week or twice a day or whatever, how that saying goes. But his underutilization and underdevelopment of the other players on that offense has led to some of the lack of success that they've had.
Question. I think. How do you feel he called the game the last 2 weeks?
I believe he got out of his way more than what he has been doing all season. I believe that he did things. I think he might even listen to the players, to be quite honest with you. because it seemed as though the players were executing with a little more surety, a little more like this is more like what we've been talking about. And sometimes you can kind of tell where a team is like, yo, this is what we need to do. I remember when the Giants told Coughlin, when Tom Coughlin was a head coach, they're like, look, man, you got to make some changes here. And when they started listening to the players and make certain changes, team took off. So that's what I think. I think he got out of his way a little bit and called a little bit better a game. There's still things he does I don't understand, but nobody's perfect. I get it. There are things that teams who are successful make some calls. And I like Washington, right, quick tangentially, Washington almost cost themselves, a chance to play for the national championship by passing the ball when they could have just ran the ball and took more time off the clock. So sometimes OC's getting their way, but that's what I think.
I thought he, especially in the Atlanta game, I thought he caught a really good game.
I did too. And I don't think he's going anywhere, GM.
I agree with you.
I don't either.
I don't.
And you know what? And to be honest with you, I don't know if he's actually learning from this. And I don't know if he is. I don't know what the answer to that is.
GM. So I think
learning from it, maybe it's not a bad thing. I don't know.
I think, and I've said this before, and I've said this many times, I felt that he, of the coaches, had more bright spots over the 2 years than everyone else. Until Eberflus took over the defense. I'm saying Eberflus showed why he's a head coach. Because that defense went from shit to sugar. Like,
right. Yeah.
Well, he showed why he's a great defensive coordinator.
Yeah. But I'm saying, he showed why he got a head coaching opportunity, is what I mean. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Getsy is showing that at all.
Right.
But I felt over the time he has had moments where he's been the one looking good and the other side haven't. Now, what I will say though, what frustrates me about Getsy, he could be calling an amazing game, and then he can call a terrible game, all in the same game. That's what bothers me with him. But I think we're going to keep him and factor in on that he's learning thing. But I do think next year the trigger will be pulled if he's not showing to build off what he's doing. I mean, honestly, I hope Darnell Mooney is not playing next week.
Okay.
Because the way he called the game Sunday, it was like, shit. Has Mooney been holding us back? He even put your boy in there. He gave him a straight handoff. Velus.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Gave him a straight handoff. I didn't even realize who it was until they said it. I'm like,
they said it,
what?
Right. Yeah,
it wasn't a jet sweep. It was a straight handoff. Like the just the offensive play calling was a lot different.
By the way, who is 80?
I don't know.
Where has he been?
But that's kind of my point, man. It's like there's some cats just like, wait, he's been on the team all year?
Because Mooney wasn't there.
Look, man, he
caught the ball. 80. I don't even know who he is, but he caught the ball.
Getsy needs
to
be
squad guy.
Yeah, he needs to be better at utilizing the talent on the team. And he needs to find a way and he needs to, for the love of God, man, every week 3rd and 1 is an adventure.
Yeah,
I mean,
but this week he kept it simple. Now, was it stellar? No, but he ain't trying to do nothing fancy. Kept it simple.
Yeah. Well, we need to draft a center. Or get one in free agency. That's for damn.
Quickly. You get a center on that line.
It changes a lot.
And you get a 1A receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You're going places. Guaranteed.
Yep. Get a little more depth. Get you a nice backup tight end.
You don't think we keep him Tanya? He's on a 1-year deal.
1-year deal.
1 year.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't. You don't need him. You can go and get somebody else.
Right. There are going to be some tight ends available. Just even free agent tight ends that you don't have to spend a whole bunch for. But I'm with you when you say, because as much as everyone keeps talking about Marvin Harrison Jr., I just don't think we're going to get him.
Well, if we trade with Washington or New England, we will.
Maybe, but if I'm watching New England, why do I need to trade with you? I'm going to get a quarterback.
Well,
it's
you
the
put
question
out there
is,
that you might get.
The question is,
take them.
right? Who do you want?
Well,
and do they fall in love with a guy?
In Washington, we don't even know who the new
Carolina
is going to be.
Carolina fell in love with a guy last year, and that's why you got the haul that you got. So that's what you're hoping happens next year, or not next year, but in April.
Well, keep in mind, if a team like the Raiders or Atlanta want to trade up, you can probably get more because they're coming from further away.
And that's true. And then I'm fine. I'm fine with neighbors Dunze.
I don't want to go. I don't.
Dunze. Dude, you okay with going with Dunze?
No. Not the player. Not the player. The spot. I don't know if I want to go too far down.
Fine.
But if you get
a haul,
major haul,
it depends what that haul is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's from 3 to 1, that's less.
Atlanta might give us Kyle Pitts in the mix of that shit.
I mean, if you go from the further you go down, the more you have to give up.
They using them.
No, they're not.
They're really not.
They are.
They're really not.
They ain't using them. Shit, if I'm posed, I'd have been saying Washington. Now you got me intrigued by that. Look, give you this number 1. Give us 1 next year, 2 next year.
Would
2 this year.
Would you let Foreman go and take Algier?
He's younger, right?
Algier and Khalil, and you're back.
Algier's not bad.
That's why I said he's younger, right?
I mean, I don't put much value on the running back position anyway.
Okay.
Well, because we got Roshan.
Yeah, that's true.
I asked for Pitts. I'm asking for Kyle.
If you do that, you're probably just getting next year's number 1. You're not going to get 2026's number 1. No. But you can still get some decent picks.
The only problem with that is if you go Atlanta,
they're in the trash division. That's the problem.
Right. So you're not getting
they might win
a top 5 pick in 2025.
They're getting a rookie quarterback. You don't know what they're going to do.
Hey, but somebody
said, and it might be a new head coach. You don't know what they're going to do.
They got they got a better team than
they'll have a rookie Carolina quarterback, and they have the same situation they had this year. And Ritter, although he didn't,
but they have more
games,
but they have more talent. Say like a Carolina Carolina was just busted, man. They ain't had nothing.
True.
But you know what though?
Washington's in a really good spot.
The media, when we made that deal, they swore we lost.
Well, because they were all up on freaking Bryce Young.
That's what we're saying.
But they were saying they could win that division.
Right.
They were saying that. They were saying Mingo is an upgrade from DJ Moore. And of course, they were talking about Bryce Young being better. And then Frank Wright, they were saying
and defense was good.
So they actually get paid to be those type of analysts, huh?
Yeah. Now they should know.
Well, here's your thing. If you make that trade with Washington, don't forget Washington has a lot of talent on offense already. But
I like the division they in. They're manual.
Yeah. They're not. Yeah.
Now, granted, could they spark up? That's true, but Atlanta's in a division where Atlanta's not even out of the playoff hunt. They're behind us in the damn seeding in the record, but they still have a chance to win that division.
I don't think they can.
They're not eliminated yet.
That's true. Who's the other team? New England? Yeah, I don't know if New England's they're moving up one spot. I don't know. Well, the Raiders.
I'm saying they fall in love with their guy. I saw somewhere somebody had a mock where New England moves up to 1 and they take Drake May.
Well, you don't have to move up. If that's some Ryan Pace shit. You got to move up to take Drake May. He's going to
fall in love with your guy from North Carolina.
May's so New England's at 3, Washington's at 2, according to tankathon.com, which is the one I used to do the mock draft. I don't know, man. I mean, the Giants. I don't think the Giants are going to move up. I think they're kind of fiscally tied to Daniel Jones. Chargers aren't going for a quarterback. The Titans aren't going for a quarterback. The Jets aren't going for a quarterback.
The Titans are?
No, they like who they have in Levis. They're gonna build around Levis. Yeah, I will say he hasn't looked too bad. Give it a good off season, some more talent around him.
If you had a legit shot at the number 1 pick, you would still stick with Will Levis over Caleb Williams?
Yeah, I would, because look, man, everybody, I don't get why people think college quarterback success translates equally or evenly to NFL success. How many times have we seen quarterbacks come from who knows what the fuck university, and then they're killers, or they're very good players. And then you see guys who you've watched on Saturday all the time get to a situation, and then they're just not as, impressive as they were, and they just turn out to be okay. And really, your situation and your environment that you find yourself in has a lot to do contextually with how well you do, i.e., how good your coordinators are and how good the players are around you, and how much faith and investment is given into developing, again, not just the quarterback, but the players as well. So a guy like Will Levis, and you look at the head coach, Vrabel, he's been a pretty consistent, solid head coach since he's been one. The Titans don't do a lot to really hurt themselves. So they haven't won a whole bunch, but they've been in the playoffs. Hell, a couple of years ago, they were number 1 seed. So, they have a decent offensive line. They've got some talent at running back. They've got some talent at receiver. They've got a lot of talent on the defensive end. You don't have to do a whole bunch in terms of going over the top to develop Levis. You can play action your way. I mean, Tannehill was living off of that. And Levis is a much higher athletic ceiling and a stronger arm, and has a certain kind of, devil may care, I'm gonna play my hardest attitude. Now, physically, he may hurt himself because he kind of, he plays with a reckless mindset to some degree, but he has shown that he's got a little bit something that makes him a little bit more than your average quarterback that you can build around. So yeah, I'm going to build around him as opposed to someone like Caleb Williams. Levis is a big dude, man. He's athletic. He's got a big arm. Hell, his first game, what, he throw 4 touchdown passes the first game? I mean, everyone can have just a good game, but he's done things very competitively. Hell, they came back from behind. Was it the Chiefs that they beat when they came back from behind, or it was some top team they beat that the team should have won the game? They came back from behind and beat them. And I think it was like a Sunday night game, like a late night game. So he has shown something in the league already. These rookies, we don't know what the hell they're going to do, man. They haven't shown what they can do in the pros yet. Everything is pure speculation when it comes to them. You got to hope that those things translate. You got to hope they find themselves in the right situation to develop. You got to hope they don't get distracted by all the external things that are surrounding them that they didn't necessarily have to deal with to the degree that they would as professionals. That depends on what city they're in. I mean, man, that's a lot, dude. So yeah, no. Devil, it was a bird in hand beats 2 in the bush. So I don't know, man. Look at the Falcons and the Raiders. Those guys bracket the Bears. The Falcons are at 9. The Raiders are at 11. Bears are at 10. And that's the Bears' second pick, that is. Or the Bears, their own first-round pick.
Their own pick, yeah.
I mean, the Raiders could maybe hold on and try and take Bo Nix or Michael Penix, or they might feel they're really good with Aiden O'Donnell and want to draft another position and go there. They have that option as well. But they also can move up and they have a draft. They have a piece that maybe they can offer us. Crosby, you got Crosby and Sweat on either end, and you're drafting back to back, and you're drafting at 10 and drafting at 11. You could really do something, just in the first round right there. I mean, because Crosby in essence would be like having another first round pick, or at least a high second round pick in terms of where you may value him. but you have the 10th pick and 11th pick. Nobody can get in between what you're picking. You can literally decide the two players you want. Man, that would be nice. Same thing with the Falcons. If you get the 9th and then the 10th pick, nobody in between you. I mean, just think of on fantasy football. If you have back-to-back picks, you feel pretty good because like I can get this dude, and I know I can get this dude.
Not a fan of the back-to-back snake there, because then you're waiting a long time.
Right. That's the snake. But I'm saying as you're literally making that pick, when if you're picking, say, in the first round last, and then in the second round you're picking first, you literally have a chance to get two of the top 15 players available. And that would be what the Bears have a chance to get two of the top 10 players available in this draft. And if they got someone like Crosby, if it from the Raiders or from the Falcons, if you got Pitts, as you guys were saying. I mean, man, that would be a stupid haul. I mean, you're talking all of a sudden now the Bears look like a top 4 team in the NFC and a top 10 team, top 10 team in the NFL. Just off that alone, they would look like that. And that's not mentioning the other players you would get in the draft and whatever free agent moves you might make. Because now you become really interesting and players might start looking to you to be a free agent destination. So that's the other thing you have to consider as well. What message is Poles going to be sending if he trades Justin, as opposed to keeping Justin and investing in him? And players talk, man. We can just tell by the reaction we see in the locker room, but how those guys feel about Justin. That stuff permeates other locker rooms. That stuff goes across the football diaspora. Those guys talk, and players see, be like, yo, dude, something happened in Chicago. I can see with Young Buck, we can go places. I can blah, blah, blah. And it is the third largest media market. There are opportunities. And you see with the 85 Bears are still clocking after what they did 40 fucking years ago.
Look at my hat.
So I'm saying, man, it goes way beyond, man, just, you got nice hat. It goes way beyond just people saying, oh, you can't pass on the first round pick again, or the first pick in the draft again. Like, dude, y'all thinking very myopically. You have to think in a panoramic view here.
Exactly.
And that's what a general manager is supposed to be doing.
And that's what tells me a lot of these people really don't know the organization they're talking about.
No.
Talk about Ryan Poles, you're going to lose your job making this decision. Do you know the organization he's a part of?
He's saving them money, man.
What, man? Losing, if he draft Caleb and lose, he's going to lose his job.
Right. Especially if Justin explodes like he probably would. You look worse. Like you had that guy in your building and you let him go for that dude.
And so, man.
And here's the other thing, and we haven't talked about it in a long time because nothing's really happened on this front. When the Bears get that stadium deal in place, in tow, and things start to happen, you're talking having Justin in place, having a shitload of talent for the next 2-3 years coming in that's affordable, that keeps the cost down. And you're talking a Chicago Bears emporium being built at Chicago Bear Disneyland being built out there wherever it is. If it happens, I'm just saying.
This stadium deal is looking like it's going to be the next generation.
Yeah,
we may not see it in our lifetime.
We'll see. I mean, sometimes things are darkest before the dawn. So
hey,
look,
go ahead.
No. I was just saying, look, I never thought they'd draft a quarterback that they drafted. So,
True that. Hey, by the way, shout out to Jalen Johnson and Montez Sweat, named to the NFC Pro Bowl. I don't know what that means because there is no Pro Bowl, but they're all stars. So
they get paid a little extra. That means they get somebody in their pocket.
Do you think that now, since there is no Pro Bowl and there's not going to be any alternate Pro Bowl members named to the Pro Bowl because there's no need, does it mean more now to the to your career arc being named to the Pro Bowl than it has in years past?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if nothing else, it sets you apart, from your peers, in a lot of respects, and it's more it puts the highlight on you a little bit more. So and it doesn't get muddied in by those guys who come in because player X, Y, and Z were injured. So you get, another players that come in here. On top of that, I think it becomes more for the players, it becomes more of a useful tool when negotiations either come up, for their contract. Like, hey, put that as a kicker in there that I've gotten this, and I'm a 5-time Pro Bowler, and it's a real deal, because the thing that basically for the last several years kind of weeded out a little bit. You got the guys named for the Pro Bowl, but then there was the All Pro team or something, or what was it called?
All Pro.
Yeah, All Pro was different than a Pro Bowler. Pro Bowler was like, okay, that's nice, but if you're an All Pro, that meant like you're the top of the top.
You're the best at your position.
Right. And so now you don't necessarily have to. It kind of says that now anyway. So yeah, I think it makes a bit of a difference. Now, do the regular fans care? I don't know. I think it matters more so with the players and their negotiations, and maybe for their career, their Hall of Fame track if they're on one. But I don't know if the fans necessarily get as pumped as they used to be, because before, again, back in the old days when you watch TV on a like the Flintstones with a little antenna and a rock, rock slate as your TV. I got excited when a Bear ever got named, because I get to see them play in the Pro Bowl.
So well, when you got to see that helmet.
Got to see that helmet, right?
In the Pro Bowl.
That
was a big deal.
It was a huge deal. And so seeing Dan Hampton, because for a while that was the only guy the Bears to have it, or Walters, like, okay, we got two, got one on defense, one on offense. It meant something. I've got 60 of them damn cowboy hats.
I remember there was a stretch where the Bears didn't have any Pro Bowl in the 90s. No. There were no Bears Pro Bowlers, and all of a sudden, I think Glenn Milburn made it as a as a return specialist. And I was like, yeah, we finally got a helmet out there. That was a huge deal, man.
Shout out to family, by the way.
Glenn Milburn that's family?
In-law.
Nice.
Yeah. My wife's side of the family. Yep.
Good old number 24.
Got me. I just remember he played at Stanford. Came from Stanford.
He was a Stanford guy. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. College football. We had a playoff this past weekend. The semifinals happened.
Great semifinals. Very entertaining.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you guys. I only watched the Michigan-Alabama game. There was some stuff going on during the Washington and Texas game. I saw like a little bit of the first quarter of that game, and then that was it. But that Michigan-Alabama game there was some drama there, man. That was a good game, good football game.
Well, yes, and I won't say no, but yes, with an asterisk, as you so inclined to say these days.
You deserve it.
I thought there was a lot of
inside joke.
I thought there was a lot of sloppy play with both teams, but because both teams were sloppy with the ball, it balanced it out enough.
That makes for good football.
That made
I felt Michigan should have blew them out if they special teams wasn't tripping like they was.
Right. And then the Alabama fans be like, well, we would have been more in the game if our center could just actually hike the ball.
Yeah, what was up with that, man?
Dude, I don't know what happened in the second. I don't know if he got bought off by the mafia or what, because the second half, that ball was everywhere. I basically saw a couple times, you saw Milroe in like a catcher stance, just back there just trying to field the ball.
It's not like, I don't think Michigan was playing with guys in the zero. Lined up in the zero technique.
No.
At nose. So I was like, why is he? It shouldn't be a hard snap.
Well, look, for me, I enjoyed every bit of it. I'm happy as hell Alabama lost. No offense, GM.
Wow.
After SEC.
Oh, well, hey, man.
And a lot of people was coming at me, what's your problem? They shouldn't have been there. But it was a good game. I don't give a damn. It was a good game. I stand on what I said. Florida State should have been punished in the playoff.
And I don't want to hear nothing about the loss that they had.
Exactly. They was without 29 players.
Right.
Like, they should have been punished in the playoff. Good. Yeah, it was a good game. Now that's what y'all want to turn to. It was a good game. At least we got a good game. All y'all thought Alabama was about to win. and they goddamn lost. Y'all thought they was gonna go in there and kick Michigan's ass. Y'all was eating up what the media was putting out there when they showed them
They scared. Michigan was scared of Alabama.
They scared. No, they was shocked just like the rest of the world. Like no one expected an undefeated Power 5 school not to be in the playoff. They were shocked. They wasn't scared, and I'm glad they came out there and whooped y'all ass.
Well,
good.
I didn't whoop their ass.
When you win, you can classify it how you want to classify.
Okay.
I stand on that.
Alternative facts.
It was a good game. It was a good game, but they won. Yeah, they didn't blow them out. But I don't give a damn if I win a game 2-1. Guess what? I kicked your ass. You can't. What you gonna say? It was a good game at least. But guess who got the W? I do. You got the L.
You right.
So I can classify how I want to.
Hey, that final play, I was a little.
It wasn't the call, man.
By that.
Y'all just talking about the center.
Well, I know, but no, but
it was.
So you don't think it was? You don't think it was a draw?
No, I don't think it was a draw. I think the snap and he panicked, and what happened?
He tried to make the best of it.
He tried to make They were getting to him, so once snap was bad, I think Miro was like, "Look, I ain't got time. I got to just go."
Because I was like, man,
they was getting pressure on him.
You had a Michigan timeout.
Yeah, that sequence was bad. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
They lined up. Wait. You had the first down. Mm-hmm. It was after first down, right? So you had
got it first.
You had time there.
No, it's overtime. It's not time.
Yeah, it's overtime. You're not worried about.
Well, no, it wasn't time, but they got a first down. So there was, the play clock wise. They took their time. They lined up. Michigan called a timeout. They saw what Alabama was lined up in. No, excuse me. I'm sorry. It was fourth down. It was fourth down. But they saw what Alabama was lined up in. They called timeout. They line up again. Alabama then calls a timeout because they didn't like what they saw. All that time, and I was like, why is that the play call? But if you guys are saying that wasn't it, then
man, what threw me off, because like I said, I'm on an app. I mean, not an app, but I'm on like a Fire Stick. So I was delayed. So I saw somebody post like Alabama go for 2 and end this game. So I'm like, damn, I can't be that far behind because they called timeout after timeout. There's no way I'm that far behind. So I was kind of like, damn, what's finna happen? They finna score, and then they go for 2, and I'm like, oh, he just was talking ahead of time, just knew. Like once again, one of these arrogant ass Alabama fans, he just knew they was about to score. That's what makes me even more happier. You talking that? Go home.
By the way, I got a bone to pick with RC and Cable. I was at my in-laws' house, and their reception was almost like Glenn, you brought up the Flintstones with the Stone TV. It was almost like that, right. Man. It kept going in and out. RC and Cable, you gotta fix your shit, man. That was bad, but I almost missed that. But
why isn't the playoff on ABC?
I don't know.
Especially with it being Monday night, and you typically been having Monday Night Football on ABC.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I can't understand it. ESPN
and then they had the Bulls Knicks on tonight on ABC.
Right.
That's a good question.
I don't understand. To your question or your query, I'm not certain if that was a play that Alabama called, but that snap was bad. Milroe was like. And I think he saw a space. There was a space off the left side of the center.
Over number 5 pushed the lineman back into him.
And what happened was he ended up tripping over his right tackle, J.C. Latham, who might be a first-round pick, by the way. He, on top of the fact that he tried to make the best of it and he was moving forward, he was moving forward, he lost his footing because he tripped over the guy's foot. So he had like no leverage, no inertia at all. He lost all leverage at that point. And so it was dead. It was like no matter what he was going to try and do at that point. So yeah, man, that was just. But I think that snap threw a lot of the timing off and everything. That dude killed them. I mean, that center. And apparently they had nobody else because they kept using him, and it had to be in his head the rest of the game. because he had back to back. Right? They were driving, had a good momentum, and all of a sudden, they're like 3rd and 20 something.
Yeah.
But shoot, Michigan returner almost cooked the game.
Yep.
What are you catching the ball there for
right. Why are you
anyway?
catching it? Right. Right. So yeah, that game to me entertaining. Some sloppy play, but some really good quality. Top tier college football play, and I really enjoyed the Washington Texas game. I like the way Texas came back. Washington, for whatever reason, was doing their best Bears impersonation, just trying to give you a chance to win this game. Like, we got it sold up. We got a 95% chance of winning this game. Okay, we got an
I say
83% chance to win
Cowboys.
this game.
I say Cowboys impersonation.
Okay, we got 11% chance to win this game. Okay, we got a 0.7% chance of losing this game. I mean, of winning this game. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, I almost don't know how Texas didn't win the game at the end, because they had all the momentum, but that DB at the end
That
made
was a great play. Great play in the game.
Hell of a play. But yeah, that just would have been heartbreaking for Washington to lose that game. But yeah, I really was impressed with Penix. I mean, I watched him. I remember him in Indiana, and I remember him getting his knee injury, the first one in Indiana. I was like, oh man, this dude, looked like he could have maybe done something. Then he came back. I wasn't quite following Indiana because it's Indiana football, and then he got hurt again, and I was like, I don't know, and I didn't hear anything about him. And then last year, I'm like, oh wait, that's the dude. I'm like, oh, he's still playing college football. He wound up at Washington, had a great year last year. So I was really looking forward to when he said he was coming back, with the receivers that they had coming back. They had 2 1,000 receiving yard receivers coming back, and they had some good edge rush. I'm like, man, this team looks like it can do something. And that game, both games against Oregon were epic games. But Penix, even with all that being said, he showed me so much in that playoff game against Texas, with just how he can manage a game and how he can orchestrate drives. And those passes he was making, that was NFL coverage closeness that he was making these passes. I mean, like, I'm not saying that some of these guys, in Texas are going to be going to the pros too, but some of the passes he made, there was very little room. It wasn't like these guys were 3, 4, 5 yards running open. I mean, there were some tight passes with very little window, because the sidelines was also a defender. So you got to put it in the right spot. And you look at some of these passes, and they're like literally dropping into the receiver's arms. I'm like, dude, like
the pass on the first possession of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That went for the 65 yards to the one. That was one of those.
Yeah,
he just placed it perfectly.
I'm like, dude, you are making some passes. And then he was showing the strength of his arm. He was making it from one hash mark all the way across the field, on a some kind of route that broke off towards the sidelines. I'm like, dude, like, you're showing your ass on this game. And yours looked like, I'm a good college quarterback, but he didn't look like he was in the same class at all with Michael Penix that night, in terms of just the types of passes and the consistency with those passes. And keep in mind that at one point, Penix was, I forget, he was like 11 for 12 or something on. He had some stretch going, and then some guys made some drops and kind of brought his percentage down. But man, that dude was cooking. And when that dude starts cooking, he looks like an NFL player. Now, that being said, I think he's going to need a team when he gets to the NFL that's got some good pass blockers around him and some talent, because I don't know his escapability ain't what it used to be. But you give him a little bit of time, that dude can throw some passes, man. He looked really sharp last night, or Monday night. That night. Yeah, Monday night.
Who you got in the championship game?
I'm gonna go with these guys, man. I'm still roll with Washington. I've been pulling for them since before the season began. I like a good story. Michigan, there's still some cheaters. there's still some Belichick shit. I mean, come on, man. How you not gonna know Connor Staggs is hooking you up with all this info? Like, he's just that great a scout. Like, no, dude. The players, and look, the offense significantly was less productive after the allegations became known. And people can say, the quarterback was injured and the competition got tougher, but I'm like, yeah, and the information was a lot less available on top of it. But if you're a Michigan alum, you're going to speak to the perseverance, because you won basically 45% of your games without Jim Harbaugh being there. So that says something about Michigan as well. But I like the better story with Washington. I like a guy who had to endure a lot of adversity, not self-made adversity by doing sideways shit, but real adversity, having to overcome not just a physical situation, but also mentally having to deal with overcoming those things to be the person that you felt you always were in a different situation, a different spot with different people. It's not easy to go from one side of the country to the other side of the country and still think you're going to have the same success. So I'm pulling for Washington for those reasons.
Yeah, I'm not a Michigan fan. They did the job I wanted them to do. So now I'm rooting for Washington to win the championship game. Simple as that. No analyst, no analysis behind it. Michigan did the one job I needed them to do. Now Washington wins. All Big Ten championship.
Right.
It is. You're right. That's right. Starting next year. I'm a Big Ten guy. Grew up cheering for a Big Ten team in Illinois. So I'm gonna stick with the Big Ten. I'm going with Michigan on Monday night. Yeah, let's go to picks. And so we picked 2 weeks. That was the last time we met up was 2 weeks ago, and we all went 2-1.
Nice.
In that week. So Glenn, you're in first place now with 23-14-2.
Woo!
Smoke, you're in second at 20-17-2, and I'm bringing up the rear at 18-21. I don't think there's any hope for me at this point. Well, we still got some weeks. We still got some weeks.
18-21 is respectable. That's the crazy thing.
We still got some weeks. So let's go the final week of the NFL regular season. I guess I'll lead us off, and I'm gonna take the Texan. They're -1 in Indianapolis. I'm gonna take the Texan there. I am going to take I'm gonna take the Titans plus the 5.5 against Jacksonville. And I really want to touch that Bears Packers game, but I'm not going to because I don't want to mess anything up. It would make my week if the Bears knock the Packers out of the playoffs. It really would. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm not gonna let my bad juju touch it. Because the Chargers messed me up in fantasy football, I'm taking the Chiefs plus the 5.5. Even though I know they're not gonna play many people, I'm taking the Chiefs anyway. Plus 3.5. Did I say 5.5 plus 3.5? Against the Chargers. Smoke, who you got?
I'm going the Bears plus the 3. I already know I pick these Bears quite often, and that's been one of the games I've always won. I'm going to go Falcons plus 3.
Really?
New Orleans. And I'm going to go Giants plus 5 versus the Eagles.
Oh, I can see that.
All dogs go to heaven.
Glenn, who you got?
Hey, you took 2 of my picks, the first 2. I'm with you. I'm gonna take the Texans -1.5 on the road against the Colts. I'm going to take the Titans +5 at home against the home dog against the Jaguars. And I'm going to take the Bills -3 on the road against the Dolphins. That's going to be a tight game. But the Dolphins are banged up.
That's the Sunday night game, right?
Yeah.
They got the Sunday night. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have those edge rushers, man, to put that pressure on Josh. And I could just see him rumbling for a couple of rushing touchdowns.
That should be a good one because neither team is playing really good.
No.
Bills is winning and it's not, but neither team is playing that great.
Yeah, I agree.
Another instance where they don't speak, they don't talk about that though. Josh Allen, 4-game winning streak, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But hey, who am I? I'm not gonna say a thing.
Dude's a turnover machine. I like how Orlovsky. Well, you have to worry about that turnover. Dude, what are you talking about?
My boy Dan get a pass. My boy Dan get a pass, man. He watches the games. He kind of is every quarterback's friend. That he don't really talk bad about no quarterback.
Well, you had his career.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, you know what? Let me change one of my picks, man. I'm gonna drop out that tight, not tight. I'm gonna drop out the Texans. Drop out the Texans game.
Okay.
And we'll put in a college.
Are you gonna put in the national championship? You know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
We probably should have done that.
I'm gonna take Washington plus 4.5.
Washington plus the 4.5.
Yeah. That indoor stadium playing in Houston, they should give that receiving core even a little bit more speed to get out and about.
All right.
Oh.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. We want to thank everyone for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can also catch us at HP53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast and the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rod Griggs and yours truly. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, man. It's like we always say, last year, this year, any year, subsequently after this one, we ain't saying we're right. Sure as hell don't think we're wrong.
Happy New Year, everybody. And, man, bear down. Go Bears, beat the Pack.